Unfortunately, I only have one Leffy, and then
just one. Just one. It's okay.
If you want another one, it's gonna have to be Jupiler.
No, it's okay. It's okay like that.
Yeah.
Belgian beer.
Belgian beer for a couple of lads in Belgium.
Belgian beer.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Right.
Welcome back to Radio Juxtapoz, your go-to for everything in the world of emerging contemporary art. My name's Doug Gillen, and today you join me once again from the seaside coastal town of Ostend in Belgium. Radio Juxtapoz were fortunate enough to be invited to participate in the 2024 edition of the Crystal Ship Festival. So for today's episode, I am in conversation with none other than Spanish multidisciplinary artist Antonio Segura, more commonly known to you and I as Dulk.
Lo que más me gusta de dibujar, pues jugar con la realidad, mezclar conceptos y buscar, o sea, es como soñar, ¿no? Porque puedes hacer lo que quieras.
If you're a fan of street art or muralism, Dulk is a name that undoubtedly rings a bell. Known for his colourful environments and surreal characters, Dulk masterfully blends elements of nature, wildlife and fantasy, creating scenes that transport us to otherworldly realms. His ability to fuse hyperrealism with imaginative storytelling has earned him a prominent place in the contemporary art world. One of Dulk's most notable achievements was his participation in the iconic Fallas festival in Valencia back in 2022. For those unfamiliar, Fallas is a traditional celebration that transforms the city into an open-air art gallery, filled with towering sculptures, intricate designs that ultimately become spectacular bonfires under what seems like a never-ending gunfight in the sky as fireworks go off. In 2022, Protect What You Love saw Dulk create a series of large-scale animal installations which became the centerpiece of the whole event. The animal sculptures serving as a poignant reminder of our connection to the natural world, with their destruction a reminder of its fragility.
We choose different ecosystems in the world that are very threatened, like the Amazonas, the wildfires in Australia, the wetlands too. There you have the rhino. I normally paint murals, but being able to build and a sculpture like this, it's a very nice way to bring this message. Because of the colors, because of the forms, you can bring the problem in a very special way.
But Fallas is just one highlight of a career that has seen Dulk's work featured through murals, galleries, exhibitions, museums around the world, and now leading to an official partnership with National Geographic. Today I sit down with Antonio as he unveils a sculpture here in Ostend to discuss his participation in the festival, his creative journey up until this point, and what it's like trying to do all this as a father of two. And after this, if you haven't already listened to it, make sure you check out our other interview from this festival with the Canadian artist Katie Green. As always, be sure to give us a follow over on the socials. Thanks again to Bjorn and the team at Crystal Ship for having us back this year. Let's get into it right here, right now with Antonio Segura on Radio Juxtapoz.
The last 3 of these I've done have all started with me drinking, and I'm wondering if that's sending a really terrible message out into the world. I just like to sort of point out that it's just kind of what happens on these things, isn't it? You just when you travel, you find like all the rules change. You know, it's like suddenly like you'll be like, I've drank almost every day this week.
Yeah, especially when I'm painting or street art trips is always. Every day, at least a beer.
Yeah,
or more.
It's not even like it's every day's we're going out drinking. It's just it's like there. It's just like this omnipresent thing, and especially when you're in a place like Belgium, right? You're like, okay, it's part of the culture
land of the
here.
Beer. Yeah. It's so.
This isn't your first time here at all in Belgium, is it?
No.
You've been here quite a lot. You've got quite a big connection actually with Belgium. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I lived here many years ago. I studied here in Brussels, in the St. Lucas University. I did my Erasmus here, and I traveled a lot while I was living here in Belgium because I was in the center of Europe, and it was the beginning of my street art career. So I was painting in Germany, in France, in Belgium, the Netherlands, many countries. It was so easy being here. And after that, I came back for painting murals, and now in a sculpture, like 3 or 4 big scale walls. And I'm always happy when I come back because I have so many friends here, and was amazing. I really liked my experience in Brussels, so I feel happy when I come back.
What was it that took you to Brussels initially then?
I don't know, because
the temperature's different from
the weather
Valencia.
is totally different from Valencia.
Let's be real honest here. The weather here's been miserable all week.
Yeah, but I didn't have so much cities to choose, and I knew that in Belgium there is a big tradition for comics. Many of the most important characters of the comic books were born here, and I suppose that would be a good place for a drawing lover. So I came here, and it was amazing. The university was amazing, the people, everything was great.
That totally makes sense when you say it, and obviously the connection between comic books. Who are some of your sort of comic influences, comic
More
heroes?
than comic, I would say illustration.
I think that's the grown-up word, isn't it?
I prefer illustration. Yeah. And comics are okay for me, but I prefer illustration. And I've been working illustrating books. I worked for animation movies too, designing characters. Everything related with illustration and concept art. I also like concept art. Inspired me, and
When did art first come into your life?
Well, since I was a kid, I've been drawing, and always drawing. Most of the time, drawing animals. It's my other passion, and it was at the age of 18, 18, when I have the first contact with the graffiti. And since then, everything's changed because I was studying economics at the age of 19. I started at 18, but then I quit the career when I was 20 because I was painting the whole day, painting in the streets, drawing at home. And then I decided to leave the career and was a mess at home. My parents were
this is the obvious question on that. How did they take it when you went from economics into...
That was crazy, but I never thought that I could live from the arts, because for me, I think it's a very hard work. I think it's all about passion. When you love something, you put all your energy on it, and I did it like that. So I quit the economics career and I started illustrations, and since then I felt that I was doing something that I was feeling myself for the first time. Like I was painting the whole day, knowing people. I lived in a small city close to Valencia, and I didn't know anyone there painting. I started to paint graffiti because a friend of mine from Madrid.
Every single time, it's always that bad friend.
Yeah. He came to live there from Madrid, and he brought some cans, and I was a skater, and we were skating. He was a skater too, and then we met, and he saw my drawings, and he said, "You have to start to paint in the walls." And I was like, "I really would like, but I don't have cans. I don't know how to do it."
Where do I start?
He helped me, and it was great. It was great.
So what were you writing at this point? Was it actual straight up graffiti, or was it still quite closely connected?
Some lettering, but I was the worst. I didn't like my graffiti letters, so I was also doing characters, because it's what I like since the beginning, and painting the backgrounds for my colleagues that were the graffiti writers, and I started like that. And painting normally angry animals. Now they are more friendly. I don't know. I was very angry with the wall then.
Teenage angst.
Yeah.
It feeds through, it bleeds from the subconscious to the wall. It comes in whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I know that you're far enough into your career that plenty of people will already know the origins of the name and everything like that and what it means. And I know that for a lot of graffiti artists, it's something that you pick when you're 14 years old and it sticks with you. But there's quite a poetic story behind your name, and I'm kind of interested in how you feel about that now, how you feel about the connection between Antonio and Dulk.
Yeah, the name of Dulk was...
I like that you change it for us. Because it's Dulk whenever the Spanish are talking.
Dulk.
But when you're talking to me, it's always Dulk.
Yeah, I don't know because it's Dulk. I mean Dulk.
Yeah.
Leave it like that. And when I started to paint graffiti, my friend, this friend that I was talking about, he said me, "You need a graffiti name writer." And I said, "I don't care. I'm not a graffiti writer. I like to paint and I do my characters, I do my things. I don't need a name like that." And he said, "No, you need one." And then he had a friend and he started to paint with this guy. And he said me, so I started to paint with a guy that signed as Dulk, and he passed away. And it would be so nice if you take his name to start to paint, because I mean we were kids, but he was very affected because he was a very big friend of him. And I said, okay, let's do that. Yeah, why not? And since then I'm using that name. Well, because I did a lot of commercial work for illustration, as I told you, or animation or things like that, and I always try to keep separated my real name to the Dulk name. But there was one time that I decided to leave it like that, like Dulk, because I'm traveling worldwide, everybody is knowing me with this name. And now that I'm working more in my artistic career instead of doing more commercial works, so everybody asks for my style, so I decided to keep it. But I'm also introducing it for the gallery work and things like that.
Do you ever feel pressure from the gallery world to step back from Dulk?
No, but they like more.
Is there a conflict between them then, or is it quite harmonious?
It's not. I think it's not a conflict, but they like to know They say that the collectors like to know the real name. I don't know.
Well, it's just funny because even in the street art, whenever artists seem to go into the gallery world, and you go around exhibitions, like you go around, I went around Basel in Hong Kong. When you see street artists in there, you will you'll never see the word street art. You'll never see street art written. It'll be, experimented or practiced in the public space and things like that. And it's like, it's street art just as a concept, kind of like spray paint. Mm-hmm. They still carry these negative images as like derogatory words in the art world. Is this something that you've ever experienced or you can comment on?
I don't know. I think it's like that, like you said. They don't like especially right now, that they think that the movement has passed or something like that. Because years ago, I think they were more interested in the street art or street artists or things like that. But now they look for a more contemporary thing. I don't know. I really don't know, but I feel like it's like that.
How do you feel about it then? Do you think street art is past?
No, it's not. But years ago was totally new, and now it's more established. So it's different. I think it's different. And now I think everybody wants to paint in the streets. There are many more people. I don't know, because we have more facilities, more festivals, social media is there, and everybody is doing things worldwide. So yeah, I think it's different. Years ago were many people, less people doing it, and I think was more authentic. I don't know.
In what way?
I don't know.
A gut feeling. I'm gonna look, man. I set this lighting setup up. I got the cameras going. I'm gonna probe, baby. No. But tell me, how does that make you feel?
No, it's like that. I think that years ago was more difficult to get projects. There were less opportunities for the artists, and everybody that was doing it was like more real. I think since the beginning for the artist. I mean, they were doing it because they really like it, and now I feel that the young people thinks that it's cool. You travel, you do things like that, and it's funny, and they just one day they wake up and they say, okay, I want to paint a mural, and they have, and of course there are a lot of people and very high quality. The quality is amazing.
Because you've branched out into so many different avenues now, whether you're the leading artist for the Fallas, whether you're exploring with sculpture, whether you're doing your stuff with National Geographic, like you've got all these different arms. Do you still feel a close connection with quote unquote street art? Do you still feel yourself in that vein?
I'm not a pure street artist. I'm not. I don't feel that I'm like that. But street art, like the platform, the street art has been there. It's part of my story, and I like to paint in the street and know people in every single part of the world. It's amazing, make these connections, and I love this lifestyle. And since the beginning, since I started, but I'm not like, I don't know, like I do a lot of works for galleries or sculptures or many things that are not in the street.
Do you remember when you talked earlier about how you were making the switch from economics into art. Do you remember when you first realized that actually art might be stable enough to be a job?
A friend of mine started to study the illustration career, and it was in Alcoy, in a city close to where I live. And I saw the program that they had, and I was like, okay, I really like this. Why I'm studying mathematics and these kind of things? I hate it. All my books were full of drawings and characters and everything, and I don't know what make me confident to change my way, but it's the best thing I did in my life because everything changed. And since then, I've worked so hard, but so hard. If you see the drawings from those times are like totally shit.
Similar style?
Similar style, yeah. Similar style, but shitty.
That's your words, not mine. Would you say that there's been a kind of constant evolution in where you've gone then from back then to now, rather than being like a sort of, fuck, I need to do something different?
The evolution has been so big.
How would you describe your style, and what are some of the biggest influences?
My main influence is nature and wildlife. I love it. My dad is an animal lover too. Yeah, he has in his home tons of books, and I grew up with it. And since the beginning, I was very interested in the different morphologies and the kinds of life worldwide. So yeah, I really enjoyed drawing them. And when I've been doing always animals when it wasn't a commission or a commercial work, things like that. My style was drawing animals, angry animals, then much friendly. But
then they chilled out.
And now, since 2018, I think, I did a travel to Canada, to Manitoba. And there is a town there, Churchill, where is the polar bear capital of the world. I was there in a festival with many great artists. And that's where I met for the first time Case McClaim.
Sorry, Case. He's here. I haven't seen him.
No, me neither.
I haven't.
Me neither yet.
He's supposed to be here.
He's supposed to be here.
I've been here for 4 days and I've still not seen him. He's enigmatic.
Yeah. We had a great time there. We were painting in a festival for Panjasid Foundation. They do street art festivals worldwide related with ocean and nature and endangered species and endangered ecosystems. And we were painting there, and I was in the scaffolding and in front of the beach, and the beach was full of beluga whales, you know?
Yeah.
The town is full of polar bears. During the summer, it's very difficult to find them, but they are there. So
what do you mean the town is full of polar bears?
Polar bears.
The town is full of them?
Well, they are hidden.
Yeah. That's mad.
So that was crazy. Yeah, there was a guy. There was a guy behind of my wall the full day with a gun.
Shit.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Wild. That's
wild. So,
nuts.
And we did some tours. They told us how is the way there, how the people lived there, the community was amazing. And since then I realized that, because there were my two passions together, So the wild and the street art, or the art I was painting there, and I was hearing the whales in the beach, was incredible. And since then I decided that, okay, this is, I really enjoyed that wall. It was very small, but I had a great time painting, and I decided to travel more for discover these kind of places where you can meet the wildlife, where you can see what's happening. And then I love also wildlife photography, so I do photography too when I go to...
Were you interested in photography before? Or was that a
Yes.
conscious decision because you were trying to look for source material?
I was interested. I never did it like I would like to do it, like in a professional way. I'm an amateur, but I love to be in the place, feel the nature, and then if you get one good shot, it's okay. I mean, it's not about the pictures, it's about feeling what's there.
Do you ever show your pictures?
For the first time I did it was in my last solo show.
Yeah, I was trying to think if
In
I'd
Los
seen them,
Angeles.
I don't think I really had.
It's the first time I did it, because
How did that feel?
I was so proud of it, more than showing the works, the artworks. I don't know, but it's cool because it's because the artworks were based in the pictures, so it was very, very special for the viewer, because they were comparing the reality with my imaginarium. So it was nice. And yeah, since then I realized that to paint you have to feel, and then I tried to do 1-2 travels per year to inspire and to discover and to learn. And then I go back to the studio and I paint, and I'm much more interested in what I'm doing.
Do you think that ultimately changed your practice?
Yeah.
Beforehand, did you feel that you had as much clarity in your direction of what it was that art was trying to achieve, like as a purpose? Like, what is the purpose of your art? What function is it serving? What role is it playing? And did this in any way impact how you felt about what ultimately the role of your art is supposed to be?
Well, I really like when someone is standing in front of a wall or a painting, and it happened to me sometimes. Like one time, one person came and she was crying, like, "Thank you for doing what you do," and I was like, wow. I felt so special. Like I felt like, wow. I don't know. It's one of the best moments for me, like this kind of reactions. But I had some other similars, and it's like, okay, because for me art is, you have to express I try to express what I see, what I feel, but it's about emotions. And when someone comes to you with this kind of words, and I was seeing her face and I felt amazed. So this is when the art for me is real and special. And so I think the most important is to transmit, and if you get it, then I'm done. I mean, and for me, I think I really like to tell stories about what's happening worldwide with the animals, with all the endangered species that are in the world. I like to show it in a different way than a picture or a...
Well, it's funny that you say that, because this kind of goes back to what I was trying to get at earlier. It's like, you paint animals. Now, there are no shortage of other artists who paint animals, but you paint them in your way. You've gone down this particular path to paint them in these environments with these colors. And I'm wondering, and it kind of goes back to that earlier question of what was really influencing and informing that. And there's also a kind of natural connection, and maybe this is just me putting two and two together to get five, but it almost feels slightly similarly connected to the imagery that you would see from the big installations at the Fallas. And I'm wondering if this is a regional influence that was coming in, and if your work
That's
is
a
actually,
good question.
and if your work is actually the product of a Valencian upbringing or a Valencian environment.
Yeah. Well, the light in Valencia, Sorolla, the artist, he said that the light of Valencia was the best in the world. I think it's the best one. Yeah. No, I mean, for me, the color is very important, and soft. I really like soft colors. I mean, during the sunrise or the sunset is when the colors really inspire me, and that's what I try to show in my paintings. And the Fallas in Valencia are a clear influence, and I'm laughing because last week I was talking with a Falla artist, because maybe I do another one next year, but not the main one.
Is that a scoop?
That's
We got an exclusive here, maybe.
Not the main one, but another one, a really cool one. So and we were talking about that. I don't know if you have seen the kind of sculptures that they build, but there are a lot of characters.
For the purposes of the podcast, can you first of all break down, just give me a rough idea of what the Fallas is, and then maybe what those characters might look like? Because like I said, there's the
Fallas Festival is a festival that it's celebrated in Valencia to welcome the spring, and we have more than 750 Fallas in the streets during that week, and it's crazy.
I mean, it's like legitimately crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, you said 700. It's like it's genuinely 750 burning effigies in the middle of the street. All you can hear, apart from fireworks going off, is the sound of fire engines rushing around the streets trying to put out fires.
It's crazy.
Wild.
It's crazy. It's too much. I think it's too much. But it's many people, and especially I was this year there. It was 2 weeks ago, and was totally crazy packed. The city was full, and it's nice. But we have to look for ecological ways, because I mean the fireworks, the fire,
the emissions that are coming
the
out.
emissions. It's too much.
How did you feel about the Fallas growing up then? Was it a big part of your life?
I don't know.
How close to Valencia were you? Because I understand you as a Valencia artist, but you're not quite from
I
Valencia,
live
right?
30 minutes to Valencia.
Mm-hmm.
I studied in Valencia, so I lived in Valencia for 10 years. So it's like my city.
It's as close to home as anywhere else.
But since I was a kid, I remember me and my family walking around, seeing the sculptures, like the amount of characters, because they have a particular style, like an ugly Disney style, like something.
It feels really Disney-esque.
There's
There's something so unique, and I'd read about these effigies that get burnt in the street, and they were all like satire on political statements and things like that, and there was comments. But the one thing that united them all was this particular aesthetic that I just couldn't quite pick where in the Spanish history of the legacy of Spanish painters.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you've got these really illustrative, cartoonesque figures, and and it was just so, it was amazing. I mean, I loved it, and it was just so different to what I expected, which is maybe what I loved. It must have been quite a big moment for you then, when you were invited to come and be the leading artist to sort of to curate the what was the official title?
Designer. The designer of the main. I was so happy because I'm from Valencia, so for me it's so special to do one thing like that, one project like that. I grew up visiting the Fallas, and then when someone calls you and tells you that you are going to be the designer for the next year, it's like wow. It's so cool that they are giving opportunity to artists from other fields, because years ago they were more closed, and only Fallas artists can build this kind of structures. But now, they still build it, but they are open to work with street artists or painters or illustrators but they only do it in the main Falla, in the one that is the one that is in the city hall, the one that I did. But it would be so cool if they open to the other Fallas too, to let them grow and because we work internationally and it's cool. It's nice for the city because, for example, the first street artist was Okuda, then Pichiabo, then was Sif, and then me. We work worldwide and immediately if you share something on your social media or the people is crazy because it's like, what's that? Mine was 23 meters high. That's crazy. And when people see the pictures, it's like, what?
The pictures are insane.
It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. And if you are there and you see how they build it, it's amazing. And I really like the process. So it's a long process because we were 1 year working on it and with a team of 30 people, something like that. And it's very like, okay, let's do this with wood, with cardboard. It's very rudimentary. Mm-hmm. And
which is funny because it doesn't look that way when you see the results. They look clean. It looks very well produced.
That's the point. And it's amazing. It was so special for me because I'm from there and my family was there, my friends were there. Of course, if you do this in New York, for sure, it's crazy. Yeah. But in Valencia, with everybody, all my people was there and was magical. Yeah.
Why do you think Valencia's got such a deep-rooted connection with street art? What is it?
I don't know, but there are many people there.
So many.
In Spain.
I mean, Spain as a country, huge. And especially with the contemporary muralists that are painting just now. The best mural artists in the world just now are coming from Spain. But there's something really kind of like off about Valencia that just is really unique.
I don't.
Do you know? Did you feel that when you were there?
Yeah,
when you were painting?
I feel it. There is many people is there, like, and for example, Felipe Pantone or Pichiabo, or many people is there, and I don't know why. Maybe they say that the fine arts university is cool. I didn't study there, but I don't know, maybe the weather, the food, the paella, I don't know. I love the paella.
So it's got to be there's something in the water.
I don't know, something in the water, maybe. Yeah.
So what drives you now when you're looking for projects? I mean, you've had one of the biggest. I'm going to guess that was the biggest project that you've worked on.
The fire?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. The biggest.
Yeah, no, that was a safe guess. I was questioning myself. I was like, surely it is.
Yeah.
How did that feel when you were taking on that role where you're actually no longer the artist behind the paintbrush, but you're actually the director of the orchestra, the conductor of the orchestra? How did that feel? And what now, what do you look for? How do you get that buzz back?
Since the beginning was super exciting because, of course, to create one of these pieces, you need an architect, someone
with a degree
that needs to tell you, okay, this is impossible to be built. This is the way. This is not the way. So you need them. Then, since the beginning, I was totally open to create something together with him, with Alejandro. His name is Alejandro Santaeulalia. He's a fire artist from Valencia. And he did the main fire, like, I think it's 5 or 6 times. So they are so professional. Yeah, it was really cool because I spent, I think, 3 months just working on the design and with meetings with him. And then I did an original painting for the sketch. He was like, we don't need a painting. But I said, it's something really cool that I'm going to do, and I want to do a painting.
Let me do a painting, man.
Let me do a painting. I mean,
just give me this one thing.
let me do it. And he was like, okay. So it was, we were almost 3 months working on the idea, and then since the beginning was amazing. I started to work with the 3D designer to prepare all the models, and then after that, we started to print the thing, but in a small size. Mm-hmm. And then was already, okay, this is going to be cool. And then we started with a big one. And I remember when for the installation was crazy, was because it was because my fire was supposed to be for 2020 and was the pandemic.
I remember it well.
So we had to delay it 1 year, and it's made of cardboard and wood. So these materials, Valencia is wet, not like here in Ostend, but it's also a wet weather. So the head of, I don't know if you saw the sculpture, but there were many characters, but there was a big polar bear. So his head, we spent like maybe 7 hours trying to install the head together with the body, with 2 lifts there in the main place, everybody looking, and we were, okay, what's happening? Because the wood was a bit, it moved a bit because of the time, because it's made to be burned in months, not to be
preserved like a museum sculpture.
Yeah, so it was difficult, but we got it, and after that, I remember me in the lift painting the last touches in the glass. Was really, really cool. And I didn't paint the whole thing, but I had a team of painters. They were 3 people, and I was painting in digital every single part, and then they were putting the base, and I did the last touches. Only the bear. I painted the full bear, but all the other parts were painted by them, and I did the finish, the last touches. Yeah.
You're listening to Antonio Segura, aka Dulk, in conversation with myself, Doug Gillen, recorded live at the Crystal Ship Festival 2024 in Ostend, Belgium. We've got loads more coming up in the second half. Don't go anywhere.
What is it now that you're looking for from projects? You must get a lot of emails. Why are you here in Belgium? I guess was a blunt question.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of work, and this year is being difficult because I was father again 1 month ago.
Hi,
so,
congratulations!
Yeah. And I have 2 kids.
How many kids you got?
2 kids, and with the work, it's difficult, and especially with this kind of work. And my wife, Sarah, she's the best. She works with me in the studio. She's managing everything, and now we are in a difficult time because we both are busy, but she was traveling with me everywhere, and now she had to stay, of course, because the baby it's just 1 month, and at home we have so many things. In the studio we have so many things, but we will figure it out, and we are so happy. So
how easy is it to juggle this?
It's not easy. It's not easy.
As an artist, I mean, it's a question I've been finding myself asking a lot more. I'm a recent father. I'm wondering, and it's just natural that it comes up more when I'm having interviews and conversations with people. But I'm wondering what the key is to balancing that. You know, there's not that safety net, I guess, that comes with corporate life.
I don't have regular days. The good thing is that we live in our hometown. My wife is from the same hometown, and we have our families there.
So you have a nice network around you.
Yeah.
That helps.
We were living in Valencia, and we moved to Ontinyent, where we live, because our families were there, because we wanted to have family, and we used to travel a lot, and we thought that would be the best plan for the future. And we got a very nice house. The life there is much more cheap and calm, and the social part is when we travel. So it's and there I'm the full day in the studio, and then I go home and I'm with the kids, and I think it's perfect. But right now we need some months to establish the way.
Still fresh.
With the first one, it's already done. He's great, and
how old is he?
He's almost 4.
Okay.
But he traveled with me to many places already. He has been in Alaska, in French Polynesia, in 7 or 8 times in the US. I don't know, many countries.
How do you have to be more selective now with your projects, or does it?
I try to be, because I don't have enough time for everything, especially having family. And I think I need, and I like to focus the projects in the direction that I'm trying to look.
So ultimately, what is that now? Has conservation come fully into your artistic identity?
Yeah, I would like to go through that direction, especially since 2 years ago. As I told you, I'm trying to develop projects inspired by my trips, and because of that, I started to work with National Geographic. Next month, I have a trip with them, with an expedition. We are going to do an expedition in Alaska, and the plan is to keep working with them for the next year too. Mm-hmm. So that's the direction that I wanna take, because it's what I like, and I don't know what is gonna come. I don't like to think in the future because I have so many things in my head right now with the things that are happening. My dream, I remember last year we had a meeting and someone asked me, what would be your dream? And I said National Geographic. Yeah. And after 6 months, they contact me. I was like, wow.
You manifested the shit out of that.
I was like super, super happy. That's the point. I think I really like nature, and they are the main organization worldwide exploring and bringing a message and storytelling about what's happening out there. So it's my best partner, I think, for the future projects, and let's see what's happened. I don't know, but the plan is to start to travel with them.
When you think about where the world is, where we are collectively, we have more information, more access to more information than we've ever had. We've seen the scale of social and environmental challenges that lie ahead of us, and how much it affects people and how much it impacts how we're even just talking to each other. For you, what role does art play in conversations of these big wide issues?
I think art is a powerful tool to bring this message and to get the people interest, because especially this is one thing that I see when I paint a mural, for example. People is like, wow, it's nice, I like the colors, I like the composition, and then when they go deep, they discover what's happening, and I think it's a tool to get them closer to the problems. The thing is that I don't feel that I need to change anything, or I don't want to push the people with what's happening with the species, but it's true that I like to create a story with the problems that are happening, show, I don't know, I feel myself like a storyteller about what's happening.
How do you build a story then?
For example, right now I'm doing another trip in June. I'm going to the North Pole, to the Arctic, and I'm doing it by myself with an expedition, but not with National Geographic. And because my next show will be in December, and it's going to be about the Arctic, and it will be a small show, but it's a long time since I wanted to travel there. So a long time. And this year I was 40, and I was like, I always said when I will be 40, I will go to the Arctic, and I'm gonna do it.
You're good at manifesting shit.
I'm gonna do it.
If there's one thing I've learned from this podcast, is that you really, if you say something, then it comes good.
So I'm gonna do it, and that's where it will start. Let's see what I see, but after that, I will come back to the studio and I will check the pictures, the feelings I had, and then I'll start to draw and sketch the body of work. But I want to choose the different species, the most endangered species that are there, and create a story with showing the problems that they have, but in a metaphorical way, of every single one. There are 4 or 5 that are the most endangered. And then there's a whale, there is a seal, the polar bears, and another one.
What is about the Arctic that pulls you in so much? I mean, it's one of the harshest places in the planet that you could go, right?
Maybe, yeah. I think the landscape has to be incredible. I've seen pictures of friends that already went there, and
as a guy from Valencia, it's also the exact opposite.
the opposite. Totally. But wow, it has to be magical, and I can't wait. Normally the process is like that in an ideal project.
Do you think in terms of an exhibition or a painting?
Of an exhibition. Of
the big narrative that you're looking to to communicate.
I mean, I would love to be traveling the whole year to prepare just a painting, but no. When I have an exhibition or a project that I want to put a special interest, I really like to do this before. Like last year, I did a show in LA and was based in my trips around the US. Through the different natural parks, and it was like 8 years traveling, and I've been in amazing places, and I did a painting of every place that I've been, like the most iconic places, and was very very cool. That's where I showed the pictures in that exhibition. So that was the ideal project that I wanna keep when I do a show in the future.
Will that same pattern follow for this one in December?
Yeah, something. It will be smaller, but it will
with
be
the Arctic.
With the Arctic, it will be in Miami for the Art Basel.
Ah, okay, that's nice. With
ThinkSpace Gallery.
With ThinkSpace, nice. Kind of touched on this, but we are here in Belgium. So, what is it that you've done here for the Crystal Ship? Because we're 50 minutes in and we got no idea what the fuck you've done here.
That's true. Yeah, last year I did a mural in Brussels with All About Things with Bjorn and Tiegi, and it was funny because he picked me up in the airport, and when we were going to Brussels, while we were
in a car with Bjorn?
With Bjorn, yeah.
My God, that's a death wish.
I was in the car with Bjorn for the second project, and I was like, in the first project I said, okay, this is the last time I go with the car with Bjorn, and then I came back.
He plays
but I'm still here, you know.
He loves to play a game of let's see how terrified we can make our passengers.
But I'm still here. We were talking about the festival, and he was like, okay, would you like to come for the next year? No, he asked me about James Ensor. He told me, hey, do you know James Ensor, the painter? And I said, of course.
So you knew him before, yeah?
Yeah, because I lived here and in Belgium, and I studied his paintings, and I really like them. I mean, the style, like creepy but colorful, with the mask, with the skulls, I really like it with the sea influence. And he was like, you like it? And I was like, yeah, I loved his work. We were talking about the color palette, everything, every single characteristic of his work. And he said, no, it's because the next year the festival is gonna be based on James Ensor. And I was like, oh, cool. And he said, do you want to join do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he said me, I would like, if it's possible, if you can create a sculpture.
So he asked for the sculpture rather than you.
Yeah, he asked.
He's very good at what he does. I'll give him that. It's the second time I've said that on the podcast in 2 interviews. He's a very good curator.
And I was like, oh yes, because I love sculptures, and I love to create them, but it's not easy. And especially in a festival, there is normally in a festival that is more focused on murals. So when I heard that, I was, yeah, of course, let's do it. Let's make it happen. I want to do all that I can to make it real. And he was like, great. And since then, yeah, it was in November. So we got the confirmation, I think, at the end of the year, or even I think it was January. But since then, we started to work with the 3D model. Well, first the sketch, then the 3D model, and then we painted it in the studio, and then we brought it here, and it was very easy.
Yeah, what is it?
What is it? So I normally...
so fucking blunt.
What is it? So I normally do a lot of characters in my paintings. There are a lot of them. But there is one, which is the Soul Rider, that always appear. Sometimes just the eyes, sometimes a full body, but it's changing the morphology depending of the story. If the painting is based in a natural park of the Arctic, it's gonna be inspired by the Eskimo culture or characteristic like that to make it from the place where it's inspired the work. So here I try to create some elements remembering the James Ensor character, like the masks or the sea characters, or even the clothes, the hat, some details of his characters, and mixed with my style and with the Soul Rider. I think that we got it. I really like it, and also for the colors, we needed to know the location, because I always like to keep it together with the ambient where it's gonna live.
How did you do that with the train station?
We didn't know that would be installed in the train station until 2 months ago, I think.
So how do you choose the colors then?
I wait for the confirmation, and then he sent me pictures of the place and the colors around, and then we create the color palette in digital, and then we paint it.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that detail at all.
Yeah.
Sculpture seems to be something that you're more interested in now. Is this just you pushing yourself?
I would like to do more, yeah.
Why? What is it that sculpture gives you that murals can't? Because it's fucking harder.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work, right?
Yeah. But I work with a team normally for the sculptures. We are in Valencia, and all the Falla artists, not all, but the best ones, they do also sculptural work with other techniques, not only with the Falla technique that is built to be burned, but with more like professional materials. So they know how to do it, and that's easy for us who live there. And always that I get a project, I have a team there that we work together. It's easy to move it from the place where they build it to my studio, and then we paint it in the studio, and then that's cool. And there are a lot of 3D designers too, because all the Fallas previously are 3D designed. So it's easy there, I think.
Feels like there's just a natural infrastructure that's already been set up through the Fallas.
I think so, yeah, I think so.
And it's funny that it only now seems to have really kind of come into the street art scene, but now it bleeds the other way. It accepts street art, and now street art is accepting it in a different way. Does that make sense?
Because it's a street art at the end, that the Fallas are also street art. So I don't know. It's today when we were bringing the sculpture, I felt like, okay, we are doing a Falla here.
You're standing with your matches ready to go. Just like, hey, it's cool if we burn this, right?
No. But yeah, no, because it's not made to be burned, this one. Yeah, I'm happy. I would like to do more, and I will try to push festivals, or to just not push, but let them know that it's possible to do a different thing than a mural.
You're now 40, father of 2. You're in a pretty good place from where I'm sitting. What piece of advice would you give to a younger Antonio if you could jump in a time machine and give him a piece of advice?
Don't be an artist. No.
Come on, you're an artist and you're doing well.
No.
I don't believe that.
No. I mean, I would be so happy. I'm so happy when I'm at home and I paint with him, and it's it's wonderful. But I don't know, the world is changing so fast, and when we were kids was totally different from now. So I'm worried about the future, because everything is changing to a very weird direction in many different everywhere. So I don't know, I will try to give them, now we are more, to give them all my experience and my love to make them as happy as possible. And let's see what's happened. I really like, I would be so happy if they get what they like as I did. I mean, When I was a kid, I was looking to the books of my dad, and he had many books of birds, illustrated books. And I was wondering, what is this job? I mean, there is someone drawing and painting these birds. And I never thought that I could live of the arts or of illustration, things like that. And I'm doing it, and it's part of me. I'm so happy every single day. I give thanks to I don't know who for giving me this life. And I want that they have a similar feeling, like enjoy what you do and be happy and love. Yeah.
I like ending there. Antonio, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you once again to Antonio for his time. It was really great to hang out with him over the course of that week in Belgium, despite the fact that it was pretty much raining the entire time. As mentioned, this was the second of 2 episodes recorded from the Crystal Ship this year. If you haven't already, make sure you jump in and check out that episode with the Canadian artist Katie Green, who has this beautiful practice that integrates street work with therapeutic practices and then realizes it through workshops with vulnerable people, and the whole thing is just like this massive big hug, and she's such a beautiful soul. So if you haven't already, make sure you do check that one out. That's it from us from the Crystal Ship this year. Once again, thank you to Bjorn and the whole team for being so hospitable, for looking after us, and of course for the invitation to come down and get to see it for ourselves. As always, we'll be back with you with another episode from somewhere in the world. Till that moment comes, take care of yourselves and each other.